Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jubilee Circle. Welcome to those of us who are in the building this morning and those of you who are joining us live virtually via YouTube or Facebook. Thank you so much for being here. This morning we are continuing our Via Negativa theme of I Make My Own Sunshine. And this quarter we've been exploring ways that we can keep the divine light shining within even as this season of darkness is already upon us. It's 5:30 in the afternoon and you're going, man, I want to go to bed. Because it's so dark outside. But here we are in the darkness. But you know, I don't know about any of y'all, but I have spent the past 3.5 years or so with my dukes up. I have been very aware that the progress that we've made in areas such as civil rights and racial justice and equality based on gender, sexual orientation, and all manner of rights, we've been slowly marching backward these past few years, and I'm hopeful that in the new year we can begin to reverse some of those regressions. But I'm becoming more convinced that the best way for us to make any progress at all, or to create what A Course in Miracles calls the happy dream of this bodily existence, it turns not on having a good defense. It doesn't even mean having a good offense. Instead, it means turning on our defenselessness. And that sounds like, okay, we're just going to be welcome mats. No, that's not what defenselessness is all about. It simply means that we drop our sense of victimhood. We drop our claim to be injured by others and the events around us. And Marcus Aurelius, long time ago, said, reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears. That jibes with a line from the Course that we're exploring today that says, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. If we truly realized that nothing in this world can ever do injury or harm to the limitless spirit that we each are, then we are less likely to react in fear or blame or anger. Defense naturally means that we will close our hearts to the world. And it's been tempting. It's been really tempting to do that over the past few years. It's still tempting to do it in some ways. Defenselessness means we dedicate ourselves to being open. We dedicate ourselves to being vulnerable, to being gentle and generous to everyone we meet, whether we agree with them or not. And that is our challenge, Jubilants, to reject our sense of injury that keeps us stuck in the past and saps all the joy that we can be experiencing in the future. If we can do that, we find that the injury will disappear, and then we all get to say, oh yeah, rise as you're able, please, or however you prefer, they're out in virtual land. And as we do at every Jubilee Circle, we begin by remembering the 4 elements, the fire that we have yet to light. Oh, how we give thanks for the fire. And brand new candles that light very slowly. We also remember the earth and the water and the air. And we burn sage as a reminder that this is a safe and a sacred time. And we call the 4 directions so we can orient ourselves in this time, space of sacredness. So wherever you are, I expect you'll get your compass out so you know exactly where to turn to face the east. Holy One, we honor the defenselessness of the east. The sun rises without defense. It allows its rays to spread across the horizon. It welcomes us to enjoy its warmth and light, all of us. Let us be like the sun, Holy One, rising without defense, and allowing your love to shine through us into this world without regard for what appears to separate us. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the south. Holy One, we honor the defenselessness of the south. Its warm winds blow and its heat rises without thoughts of what we may think or feel about it. It's not concerned with whether we love it or hate it. The heat of the south simply arises as it will in its turn among the seasons. It brings its unique fruit to blossom. Help us to be like the sun, Holy One, bringing your warmth into the world. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the west. Holy One, we honor the defenselessness of the west. It invites us at the end of every day to not let the sun go down on our anger. Instead, it invites us to release the frustrations and the disappointments of the day, to release the injuries we think we may have been felt. Help us to be like the West, Holy One, quick to release any offense and injury. Quarter turn to the right and we face the north. Holy One, we honor the defenselessness of the north. Its cold winds will blow when and where they will, but that chill is temporary, and eventually it gives way to new growth. Help us to be like the north, Holy One, embracing the cold times in our lives, knowing that you are producing new growth beneath that ice. And as you turn back toward the center, I invite you in this moment to lay down any defense that you have in this moment. I promise you that even though it feels like it sometimes, the world is not out to get you. It's not out to hurt you. This world simply exists to teach us the lessons we need to see through the illusion of fear and pain and see the true world of love and unity where we need no defense. And once we understand that nothing can harm the limitless eternal beings that we are, that is when we all truly get to say, oh yeah. Let's spread a little good sageness around and remain standing, and we will sing our opening song. And you can follow along by downloading the bulletin at jubileecircle.com or on our webpage, our Jubilee Circle webpage. And so you can download the PDF and follow along, all the lyrics and readings and everything you need for a full Jubilee experience. We're all right there on the webpage, so please avail yourself to that resource. All right. Thank you so much. I was going to look for that in just a moment. All right. What is a guitarist without a capo? A better guitarist than me. Ha ha! Where's my rim shot? Thank you. All right. So this morning we're going to do a little Jackson Browne for you. This is how I've felt over the past 3 years, kind of like I've been running on empty. But it also is the place where our strength lies. It's the emptiness. It really is the ability to take in the world and put out the love that we feel, even if the world has not given us love. So running on empty is not, it's not a bad thing. It's really a way we need to live. So here we go. 2, 3, 4. Look just play that song because it's fun. But we're missing Janice today, and she runs a balloon shop for anybody who needs balloons, and they've got a job this morning. So Janice is that good, strong third voice that we usually have, but we miss her when she's not with us. Voice and the banjo. I would be remiss if I did not mention the banjo. Right? We miss your banjo. Right, it's a package deal. That's right. If you get Janice, you get the banjo. That's it. All right, so welcome everybody again to Jubilee Circle. Thank you so much for joining us here today, either in the building or out there on virtual land. Just a little bit about us. We are a spiritual community here in Columbia, South Carolina, offering inspiration, affirmation, healing, and service to live abundantly, love wastefully, and awaken to our true divine self. We are a progressive and inclusive community affiliated with the Jubilee community up in Asheville, North Carolina. We're influenced by Hebrew and Christian scriptures, but we also give that a little metaphysical twist, so we read it through the lens of A Course in Miracles and other metaphysical scholars. We ground ourselves also in something called creation spirituality, which basically means that we are not beginning in that dark place of original sin and working forward. Instead, we begin in that bright place of delight, that original blessing where God created this amazing infinite universe, this blue boat we ride around upon, all the creatures upon it, and finally, in that very controversial and still much debated move, God created we hard-headed and wonderful and beautiful and amazing and creative and frustrating and flustering and maddening and just downright, I don't know.
Recalcitrant.
Recalcitrant, that's a good word.
Mm-hmm.
We should start using that word more often.
I've never heard it before. It's brand new to me.
Recalcitrant human beings. And then God looked at all of that creation and didn't go, woo-hoo, that was an off day for me. Nope, God said, all of that creation is very, very good. And God continues to delight in all of creation and invites us to do so as well. Oh, yeah. All right, a few announcements coming up next Sunday, which I did not update in my book. I love how I undermine me all the time. We're going to do something and talk about something. We're going to sing some songs and we're going to talk about something.
That's different.
Right. It will be our last Via Negativa Sunday. Then we'll go into Oxney, so we're celebrating Advent and Christmas and Hanukkah and all that. So we're going to do something. Yeah, I can't remember. So we're going to do something. We're going to do something. We're going to be here, and we're going to do something. And it's going to be fun. And you're going to be inspired, and you're going to go, woohoo, I'm glad I showed up. So there you go. Exactly. Thank you, Jess. Somebody's on my side. So join us for the Zoom talkback coming up following the celebration around the noon hour. And that link is also at jubileecircle.com or on the web page. Is there anything I'm forgetting? Anything we need to tell people? Guess not. No?
Ask about Thanksgiving.
What?
Ask about Thanksgiving.
About?
If anybody wants to.
Thanksgiving. Oh. Yeah, we were going to talk about Thanksgiving. Last year, the last couple of years, we've done an orphan Thanksgiving. And, the way things are going, with sane people telling you to stay in your house and not go traveling for Thanksgiving. But the last couple of years, we've done an orphan Thanksgiving, and so if folks want to do that, please let me know. We can, the couple of orphans in here, we can mask, we can distance, we can have one person serve all the food. We can just do things to make it safer. So we've got a big old place, so we can. I was about to say the other thing, but we got a big old place.
Big old place.
A big old place. Big old. So yeah, just send me some feedback. info@jubileecircle.com. You can reach me really easily. All right. Hear these wise and holy words from this wise and holy woman.
From the Jesus Story, Matthew 5:38 through 42 and 48. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them with the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly parent is perfect. From A Course in Miracles, Lesson 153. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. Defenselessness is strength. It testifies to recognition of the Christ in you. Defenselessness can never be attacked because it recognizes strength. So great attack is folly, or a silly game a tired child might play when he becomes too sleepy to remember what he wants. Defenselessness is weakness. What but illusions? Defensiveness, thank you. Defensiveness is weakness. What but illusions could defend you now? What is but illusions that you fight? We will not play such childish games today, for our true purpose is to save the world, and we would not exchange for foolishness the endless joy our function offers us. We would not let our happiness slip by because a fragment of senselessness dream happened to cross our minds, and we mistook the figures in it for the Son of God, its tiny instant for eternity. We look past dreams today and recognize that we need no defense because we are created unassailable, without all thought or wish or dream in which attack has any meaning. Now we cannot fear, for we have left all fearful thoughts behind, and in our defenselessness we stand secure, serenely certain of our safety now, sure of salvation, sure we will fulfill our chosen purpose as our ministry extends its holy blessing throughout the world. From the Tao Te Ching, chapter 46. When a country is in harmony with the Tao, the factories make trucks and tractors. When a country goes counter to the Tao, warheads are stockpiled outside the cities. There is no greater illusion than fear, no greater wrong than preparing to defend yourself, no greater misfortune than having an enemy. Whoever can see through all fear will always be safe.
These are wise and holy words. Thanks be to the holy. All creation is holy word. All creation speaks volumes of the holy. Hallelujah. Let's stand and sing. 2, 3, 4. Everything is wonderful. Everything is great. Free as a bird singing outside my window pane. Got a fresh new start. It's a brand new day. I got lots of love and I can wait, because it don't matter if it's raining. Nothing can faze me. I make my own sunshine. And if you think you can break me, baby, I'm crazy. I make my own sunshine. Ooh, I make my own sunshine. I make my own sunshine. Hey, let's make a rainbow. Let's look for the pot of gold. I'll show you how to keep it nice and breezy, even if the clouds start forming on my lovely day. There's nothing, no nothing that can stand in my way. It don't matter if it's raining, nothing can faze me. I make my own sunshine. And if you think you can break me, baby, I'm crazy. I make my own sunshine. I make my own sunshine. I make my own sunshine. Oh yeah, all right. You may be seated or, relax a little more out there on the TV screen. And we will head on to our sermon message this morning. Our song this morning comes from a singer and songwriter named B. Miller. I had never heard of this song. It's one I stumbled upon as I was, searching for something for a sermon, anything. And this is a really cool song. It was part of a 2017 movie called Wonder, and the song is called Brand New Eyes. Did anybody see that movie? I just never even heard of that movie. I have just been out of the
Movie loop.
That's right, out of the movie loop. All right, so it goes something like this. 2, 3, 4. I see 1,000 perspectives of me. Everyone is letting me show me a side of myself I can't see. I'm wide awake now, I'm free of my doubt, don't wanna look down. And if I fall out, I lay on the ground and look through the clouds. I got brand new eyes and I can finally see what has always been there in front of me. And with these brand new eyes, I'm taking everything and I will finally see me. Back in 2008, I published a book that was meant to help gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queers, all the other sexual minorities out there. It was supposed to be a guide to help them defend themselves. That was its expressed purpose. Publishers, who like simple titles, shortened it to Bulletproof Faith, a spiritual survival guide for gay and lesbian Christians. The core thesis of the book was based on 1 Peter 3:15 and 16, which reads, "Always be ready to make your defense to anyone who demands from you an account of the hope that is in you, yet do it with gentleness and reverence." Now, we have discussed last week how gentleness is a strength, and it's one that we must build upon. But what is a weakness in this sentence? Is that one word, defense. After being a student of A Course in Miracles for a few years, this passage, it doesn't energize me in the way that it used to back in the day when I would gladly do battle, verbal or otherwise. I mean, I got typing on the internet. Boy, you couldn't just stop me. With anybody who dared to tell me, or those who needed my book, you can't be LGBTQ and whatever else, and Christian. And those were fighting words for me. And fight, I did. I did it very well. I was so dedicated to this fight that I had already planned out this whole series of books that would follow up Bulletproof Faith, to offer even more and deeper ways to put up our dukes against anybody who says God can't love us because of our sexual orientation or gender identity. So what exhausts me about this passage right now are the first three words. Always be ready. Really? Always? When you're always ready to make a defense of who you are, that means that you see a threat everywhere if you're always ready. You've got your dukes up. It means you're more likely to feel challenged by comments that are truly either meant in ignorance or genuine curiosity. But if you're always like spoiling for a fight, ready to take on any perceived threat, you burn out really fast. And that's what happened to me, along with the discovery of the Course and its admonishment that our true safety lies in defenselessness. Whew. Back when I was scrapping for a fight at any moment, that sentence, your true safety lies in defenselessness, whew, that would have just made me laugh. Have you seen them? Have you seen who's coming after me? Defenselessness. Ha! Can't just let people run over you. I'm not just defending myself. I had a cause, right? I was defending all those people who need me to fight for them. Yeah, I had a little bit of a savior complex, right? But then it eventually dawned on me, as it does anyone who truly studies the Course. The Course was right. I did not always need to be ready to make a defense. What I always needed to be ready to do was to love, was to seek to understand, to keep my heart open, even to those who believe that me and my kind have bought a one-way ticket to some eternal hell. When I realized this, this was such a big revelation. What I realized was that those who attack me were already in hell. They were already convinced of the rightness of their position, that most of them, not all of them, but most of them, and they had abandoned any pretext toward an actual loving response to those they considered lost in their sexuality. Most of those who I encountered on the quote-unquote other side were mean. They were downright cruel at times in their attacks on LGBTQ people who were simply just seeking to reconcile their faith and their sexuality. In the midst of all this attacking and defending, though, I had this epiphany. Those who opposed LGBTQ people on the basis of Christianity were doing so based on their understanding of Christianity, which most often was an evangelical flavor of the faith that has only really been around and popular since the late 1800s. When you go back further in the history of the faith, you will find many instances of LGBTQ people who have played prominent roles in the faith and completely different interpretations of what is called the clobber passages that are used to shame and harm LGBTQ people today. And so I dropped all of my defenses when I realized I didn't have to play on their turf anymore. Mainly because fighting against them just kept me fighting against myself for as long as I believed that any of their arguments were valid. Anti-LGBTQ people can say whatever they want, but all of their interpretations of Scripture are like air. They exist in their mind and in their short-historied traditions, but it doesn't mean that I have to believe or breathe in any of them. And this realization, it made me defenseless in the face of their arguments. I didn't have any answer for them. I didn't have any more defenses. I wasn't ready to defend myself anymore, and it made me completely safe. I saw that all of this fighting was what the Course calls childish games. Nobody ever won. Everybody lost because all we did was create more separation. All we ever did was reinforce the divisions that we already perceived being there. When I stopped defending myself, I realized that I honestly didn't care what they said. Not about my faith, and especially not about my sexuality. I knew in that moment of pure defenselessness with all my heart, with all my mind and my body and my soul, that the Holy loved me without condition. I did not have to prove my worth to God, since I have never left my unity with God. This unity is where our safety truly lies. In that moment, I got some brand new eyes. And I could finally see what was right in front of me, had been there the entire time, my true divine self. And what's more, the miracle of a changed perception allowed me to see through the ego-induced deception that imprisoned my opponents. And I saw them too as innocent and divine and unconditionally loved. Breathe deeply. 2, 3, 4. When I'm looking at myself, I see 1,000 perspectives of me. Everyone is likely showing me a side of myself I can't see. I'm wide awake now, I'm free of the doubt, don't wanna look down. And if I fall out, I lay on the ground and look through the clouds. I got brand new eyes and I can finally see what has always been right there in front of me. And with these brand new eyes, I'm taking everything. I will finally see me. This old ego world, you know, it lives by that code. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, tit for tat, retribution. It's not justice. And to quote a quote attributed to Gandhi, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth leaves the whole world blind and toothless, I suspect. Jesus, who loved to turn our conventional egoic wisdom upside down and inside out, said in today's reading that we're not to live by the ego's world of quid pro quo that returns attack for attack. Instead, he says, something that's probably equally distressing if you read it out of context, he says, but I tell you, do not resist an evil person. And right now, our egos are going, what? Come on, put up your dukes. What you talking about, Jesus? Of course, we must resist by any means necessary. That's how we do it. We resist. But calm down, my little recalcitrant egos. Jesus isn't saying we just let evil run wild in the world. The Greek word, when you go back, let's put everything in context, right? You can't just read it the way it is. The Greek word used for resist, it's a military term. It literally means warfare or armed struggle. So what Jesus is saying is this: do not respond with violence to evil. Instead, rely on your reality of defenselessness, and you will remain truly safe. He then goes on to offer a litany of awful situations that we might find ourselves in and how to handle them. If somebody hits us on your right cheek, offer them your left as well. If you get sued, hand over not just the shirt off your back, give them your jacket too. Walk out of the courtroom naked. If somebody forces us to go a mile with them, go 2. And finally, he tells us, never, ever turn down anybody who wants to borrow from you. Every single one of these actions may seem like Jesus is saying, lay down, let people walk all over you, let them be as recalcitrant as they want to be, but that is the furthest thing from what he's saying. Instead, every single thing that Jesus tells his listeners then and now is revolutionary. And it uses defenselessness as the core of our safety. He calls us to rebel against anything in this world that systemically divides us in any way into the haves and the have-nots, or the special and the not special. If you have been hit by somebody standing in front of you and they strike you on the right cheek, the only way they could do that is to backhand you. In Jesus' culture, The only people who were ever backhanded were servants or women or children who were considered lesser than the privileged male assaulter. If you offered your left cheek immediately after that, you are daring them to see you as an equal. Hit me again, but hit me as an equal. And thus, we end the separation. If we get sued for our shirt, offer up your cloak as well. Walk out with not a stitch on, Jesus says, which again shows that underneath all the fancy duds we like to use to denote our class as a form of separation, we are all the same. If they sue you, give them everything, and then we are equal. There is no separation. If we are forced to go 1 mile, go 2. That refers to a Roman military rule that allowed soldiers to force civilians to carry their loads, which could weigh up to 70 pounds. The soldiers abused this rule so much that the Roman leaders limited the journey to 1 mile. By going 2, those pressed into service defied a situation that was meant to dehumanize them, thus ending the illusion of separation. Jesus' instructions, they give us brand new eyes, a new way of seeing through the illusion of this separation that we create together with our ego consciousness to see what's been there all along, a unity that can be concealed but never destroyed. Breathe deep. 2, 3. I got brand new eyes and I can finally see what has always been right there in front of me. And with these brand new eyes, I'll take in everything. I will finally see me. That I got those brand new eyes to see my opponents as beloved children of God overnight. Didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of willingness to make that change. And we often like to believe that enlightenment, or receiving the miracle of a new perspective, means that the journey there has to be one of constant joy and bliss. You know, you've got those things inside of you, right? Joy and bliss, they're there. But to live in that state of bliss forever only happens when you honestly deal with the pain and sometimes the outright agony that you might have been spending lots and lots and lots of years avoiding in your life. I kept up the fight against anti-LGBTQ Christians for so long for one single reason, and that was I wasn't yet convinced that God really did love and accept me as a lesbian. That was a painful thing to admit. I distracted myself by gleefully fighting with anyone who even looked at me sideways over the issue. But when I became defenseless, I had to deal with the pain. I had to deal with my own internalized homophobia, my own internalized shame that I had felt. I hated myself for being queer for a long, long time. And I had to come to grips with that inside, no matter what anybody out here had to say about it. My awakening came when I realized that I am free to be exactly who I am, that true, divine, worthy, and unconditionally beloved self. My sexuality is part of my learning assignment here in the bodily world. Ultimately, though, it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not God loves me. In fact, it's the exact lesson that my sexuality taught me. I am free to be me, and so is everybody else. Those people you see as your attackers, yeah, they're free to be who they truly are. Their penchant for attacking and fighting, it's part of the lesson that they're here to learn. When you receive those new eyes, you can see they're not a threat, because as the Course says, they can't harm who you really are. They can't even harm who they really are. We look past dreams today, the Course says, and recognize that we need no defense because we are created unassailable, without all thought or wish or dream in which attack has any meaning. Now we cannot fear, for we have left all fearful thoughts behind, and in defenselessness we stand secure, serenely certain of our safety now, sure of salvation, sure we will fulfill our chosen purpose as our ministry extends its holy blessing through the world, not just here, through the world. Author and teacher Adyashanti puts a finer point on it when he writes, when we are protecting ourselves, we are withholding freedom from everybody else. When we are protecting ourselves, we are withholding freedom from everybody else. That doesn't mean everybody's going to suddenly agree with us. Indeed, I still get people telling me I'm going to go to hell because I'm a lesbian. So now I smile and say thank you and move on. Attacking them only keeps them bound in their illusions of superiority and their illusions of hatred and fear. By turning the other cheek, I have made us equals and ended the illusion of separation. This is the kind of defenselessness that both Jesus and the Course are talking about. They invite us to enter this sunshine of defenselessness, but they both know it's not easy, because our ego will protest loudly that we got to defend ourselves. The ego, it wants you to go to war, take up arms if necessary, resist, defend yourself. But as we have seen from ancient days, tit-for-tat retaliation leaves everybody wounded or dying on the battlefield. The better way, the only way, jubilants, is to embrace our defenselessness and see the world through new eyes that can see through the illusion of separation. Old Lao Tzu, writing in the 46th chapter of the Tao, sums it up this way: there is no greater illusion than fear, no greater wrong than preparing to defend yourself, no greater misfortune than having an enemy. Whoever can see through all fear will always be safe. I invite you today, jubilants, open your eyes. Open the only eyes that you have that can see through this illusion of fear. If you do, Jesus promises that you will be perfect. And again, that is a word we have perverted to mean some kind of moral purity. But that word, all it means is this: if you see this world through the eyes of love, you will be made whole. That's what perfect is. You will be made whole. And in that moment, you will end the illusion of separation. Oh yeah. 2, 3, 4. Couldn't let the world decide all of the things that I can or can't do. What if I had taken all the things that broke me and made them my truth? I'm wide awake now, I'm free of the doubt, don't wanna look down. And if I fall out, I lay on the ground and look to the clouds. I got brand new eyes and I can finally see what has always been there in front of invite you during this prayer time, have a bowl to ring and sing it. If you don't, you're missing out. It's fun ringing and singing a bowl. I've been reading Rob Bell's new book, and one of the things he says that I really like, that I'm going to adopt as my own thing here. He talks about how, pastors, you tune in for, you listen to the pastor. Pastor, give us a word, that kind of thing. And we tend to think that the pastor gets the final word, but I don't want that responsibility. No, I'm just as messed up as all the rest of us. What he said is that I see my role as starting the conversation, asking the questions, getting the ball rolling. And so I've asked the questions. I've started the conversation. Now, as we meditate, it's time for you to meditate on those words, that message, and see what Spirit has to say to you, because Spirit gets the last word. almost to our time of gathering where we get on the Zoom channel and talk about today's service and all of the prayers and praises that you might have so we can have a time of fellowship and gathering. So we ask that you join us over on Zoom. You can find that link again at jubileecircle.com and on our Facebook page. And you can also find links to go and donate to Jubilee Circle. We have been buoyed and helped by the continuing support of those who have been watching us online, those who have been joining us in the building, and we are grateful. We are happy that during this time of COVID, when so many hardships are being suffered by people individually and by businesses and by organizations, spiritual organizations and other churches, folks have stepped up and have kept their favorites afloat, and we thank you so much for those who have been helping us through this time of COVID, and it appears that things might get worse before they get better. So we humbly ask for your continuing support, and you can do that through our website at jubileecircle.com, or you can send us, snail mail. We have a post office box 4611, Columbia, South Carolina 29204. So if you're the old-fashioned one who wants to write a check, you can still do that as well. Oh yeah. All right. So we will adjourn now to our. Yeah, I'm looking for it.
You look on?
Yeah, I may need to. It's here somewhere. I didn't stick it where I should have put it. All right. Let's go over there. All right. So, Meister Eckhart tells us. The only prayer we ever say our entire lives is thank you. That will be enough. And so together we will say thank you. And we will say, oh yeah, because, we all walk together in this life. And it's something we need to remember. It goes like this. We all walk together hand in hand, side by side. We all walk together with our arms open wide. Make the way by walking, in love we will abide. The path is always open, no traveler is denied. So open up your heart and let those tears ride. We all walk together hand in hand, side by side. We all walk together hand in hand and side by side. Oh yeah. All right, join us over on Zoom, y'all, and if you are not joining us on Zoom, have a wonderful and amazing week and a blessed week. And we will see you again next Sunday right here. Same bat time, same bat channel.
That song is funkier and funkier.
Yeah.
Is this yours?
No, that was yours. This is my messy one. Yeah, I'll put yours back there.
Remember.
I just ordered one too, so I can get rid of this one. It's done.